All right, what is going on, Guerrilla Gang? So today we're going to be discussing the topic that everyone is freaking out about, and that is going to be a chest rig versus a plate carrier. Roll that intro, let's get into it. Welcome to the PNW Guerrilla channel. I keep getting copyright claims for my music, so now we're singing about stuff. Oh my god, a Barrett 50 cal, shooting at night, walking at night, looking at night, out of the video. Your TLDR. Mission dictates. Guys were not tracking, if you didn't see my last video, which go watch that. If you guys were not tracking, I am now selling these marine issue waffle tops. Now, as you can tell, this one is fairly baggy on me, and this is the medium to large. Now, usually I'm wearing a large, and this is huge on me. So if you guys are, if you're a little bit larger set dude, this is the size you want, because I'm probably gonna swap over to a small, because these just run huge. But yeah, these are on the website now if you are interested. All right, let's get into the video. I'm going to be discussing your micro placard. I have this configured right now to set up with 7 30-round magazines and then one 20-round mag. We're going to be discussing the option of running a bandolier. You do not have to buy a bandolier from me, just a bandolier in general. The Army issue ones are like 15 bucks. I'm going to be selling them here soon in one of my rifleman kits, but I can't get them in high enough quantity to just sell them on the side. Bandoliers are a great option, especially for, like a Minuteman type guy. If you're, trying to be in that role, bandoliers are a great option. Or you could go with a LBV, so load bearing equipment, load-bearing vest. So load-bearing equipment is essentially going to be all of your Molly 2 PALS webbing equipment. So essentially that's just means that you can affix things in here. If you didn't see my LBV video, also go check that out. So I have a couple of things here on the table. I mean, this is only 4 things, but I have a couple of things on the table. You could configure these in different ways. So here's going to be the answer, quick, fast, in a hurry. Here's going to be your TLDR. Mission dictates. Mission dictates. I'm sorry. It's just that simple. That mission is going to dictate. My recommendation for you, if you are a baller on a budget, what I would say to do, my no BS recommendation, if let's say you have, sub $500, all right, what do you need to do? What is my recommendation for you? Okay, so first thing that I recommend you do, don't get a chest rig for either an LBV or a bandolier. You just want something that is going to hold magazines. That is going to be your first, like what you need right off the bat. You need something to hold magazines. So I would go with a LBV. I sell them for 15 bucks. Grab one of those, grab some triple mag carriers. Now you can carry mags. Hit up, OfferUp or some other website. Buy you a surplus bandolier. Now you're still under like $40 already. Buy you some Magpul mags. You can buy them in bulk if you're not in, a state. Get you a pack of like 10 magazines. You want to have a couple of magazines. My standard loadout, or what I'm taking with me pretty much no matter what, is 7 to 10. That's kind of that sweet spot that I have found. Set up with your LBE and then your bandolier, then I would go for your plate carrier. So once again, if you have about $500, you could probably get all this at once, or if you've saved up, what have you, or you're saving up, this is what I recommend is hit up either Gear or T-Rex Arms. Those are going to be your 2 best bets of plate carriers. There's also the JPC2. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's a little too minimalist on me, but it's not the worst. Personally, this has been my favorite minimalist plate carrier that I have worn so far. I've worn quite a few, and this is what I've been enjoying the most. So let's discuss modularity, all right? So if you're trying to be a baller on a budget, if you're trying to save money, you want a plate carrier that is going to be able to work with, in tandem, your other equipment. If you do not have the money to outfit a plate carrier, to set up a plate carrier, if you are lethally poor, you want to think about saving as much money as possible. Now, there are other options you could do. You could duct tape a plate to your chest. Sure, you could do that. There are options to save money. Start looking at these options. So let's say that you are to buy something a little bit more fancy like so. Well, a lot, not all, but a lot of micro chest rigs now are coming with buckles, and then a lot of the plate carriers are also coming with buckles, and they should, and this one does. I actually haven't even tested this yet, but this one does fit. Now, this is gonna be uncomfortable as hell, but a lot of your micro chest rigs are going to buckle in to plate carriers. So that is a option that you could do. Now, I would probably go a little bit more lightweight if on a placard. If you're gonna go that route, is an option. You could buckle this into here. I've seen a lot of guys buy just like straps online, and then buy the male and female end clips, and then start making their own strap setups for their plate carrier. And that's gonna depend if your plate carrier has MOLLE attachments. This one is all elastic and mesh, so that is not an option for you. So another thing that you could do if you are a baller on a budget is you could take your plate carrier, if you can put it on right because you're retarded. Okay. So you take your plate carrier and then you properly don the damn thing. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. And then you're going to take your LBV and you can throw it over top of your sustainment rig, and now you have, oh, don't want the audio all silly willy. Now you could run your LBV and your plate carrier in tandem, or if you don't want to go the LBE route, you could also run your plate carrier with a bandolier and just sash it over top. And this is an option. Is it the most comfortable option ever? Probably not. You also want to take into consideration and think about, you are also going to need to be running a pack with this. Or are you? Are you thinking strictly home defense? Are you thinking of getting from point A to point B? Are you thinking about having this equipment in your vehicle at all times? What is your plan? What is your goal? What is your mission? That is what this is really going to come all down to, of what are you doing? Why are you training? Why are you preparing? How many family members do you have to feed? How many family members do you have to protect? How many men are in your community that know how to use a firearm? Do you have friends and family members that you can call on to help you protect your community? Because if we're talking about civil unrest, if we're talking about shit hits the fan, if we're talking about the end of the world, whatever the case may be, your local community has been designated that all of the 13 million estimated immigrants are now going to bulldoze into your community, and now you have to deal with that. Now you're dealing with theft on the regular. Now you're dealing with people wanting to wander onto your property, wander into your house, frequent break-ins. What Europe is currently going through, what Sweden is currently going through, what Italy is currently going through. You need to think about that case scenario. So is this something that you want some sort of protection for bullets? Now you got to think about also, are you considering longer combat? Do you need a team? Is it just you, your wife, and your kids? Is it just you? Is it you and your wife? Is it you and your family? Do you have food to sustain everyone? Do you have equipment for other people? Do you have firearms that you could hand off? Have you been doing training in your local community? Do your guys know land navigation? Are they even physically fit enough to use any of this equipment? There are a lot of questions that you guys need to start asking yourself beyond just plate carrier versus chest rig. Once again, I would say, try to get yourself into a set of plates that is 3A plus or more. Level 4 plates are expensive. That is just, it is what it is. Level 4 plates are expensive. If you're worried about 7.62 by 39, 7.62 by 54, if you are worried about larger calibers, then yes, you're going to need larger armor. Level 3A plus is not going to stop effectively larger calibers. And then you also need to think about on top of all this of if you are wearing armor and you're not getting a through and through. Well, now you got to think about internal bleeding. Now you have to think about internal bruising. Now you have to think about all of that kinetic energy that is hitting that plate and being transferred into your body. And what have you. Not only that, and even if you don't get shot, do you have medical supplies? Do you have a medic near you? Do you have a medic in your community? Do you know any medical personnel in your local vicinity that even if you do get a boo-boo, if you get sick, if your children get sick, if something happens, do you have supplies on hand? Do you know how to take care of people, you know, beyond just protecting yourself in this box of, you know, of safety that we think that this box that protects our organs is going to save us, where realistically speaking and statistically speaking, the majority of people that have died in combat or after combat in the last 20 years was due to appendages being either blown off or shot. So a lot of the times, and that being said, this is statistics that's coming from the third world countries. So this is going to be us invading the Middle East and everything around that. You also have to think a lot about shrapnel, which we don't really have to worry about as much in the continental United States, at least yet. We might get there, who knows? So is Kevlar something you want as well? Are you going to want, you know, the Kevlar around your neck? Are you going to want the Kevlar around your abdomen? Are you going to want the nut flap thing that, you know, covers your junk with Kevlar and then another plating? I know another guy that he has a level 4 insert for the back of his medical TQ because he's like, well, I don't want to get shot in the gut, and if I do get shot in the gut, I want level 4 protection. Makes sense to me. You also want to think about side plates. Can you afford side plates? Do you want side plates? Have you ever trained with side plates? They're really uncomfortable, but they can be worth it in smaller stretches in CQB type scenarios. So what I'm trying to get at, the point that I'm really trying to hash out here is you guys need to do what makes sense for you. You guys need to understand the difference and the benefit thereof. If you are to take a plate carrier such as this or any other kind of plate carrier and take the plates out, that is going to be an extremely uncomfortable setup. What I would recommend if you are doing some sort of placard like this is keep these straps with you. If you are going to choose to wear a plate carrier and you're going to have a placard over top of that, keep the straps with you, because at some point you are more than likely going to say fuck this thing and ditch it, and you're going to want to put that chest rig back on. Same with the LBV, is if you are choosing to run this in tandem, just make sure that you can still run that other piece of equipment without this if you're trying to run them in tandem. If you want to have one or the other, and it's a different story. And then with the bandolier, well, it's a bandolier. It can go anywhere. You can shove it in a pack. You can have it on you. It can be more covert. That's another thing you guys got to think about. The more armor that you have, the more tactical you look, the more you're going to draw attention. It's kind of the thing of where you think about the more someone tries to protect themselves in an overt way, the more attention that you're going to draw yourself. So it's, take for instance, you're driving down the road, right? And it's normal mom and pop car, lesbian Subaru, sedan. Oh, wow, look, a $200,000 truck with all the bells and whistles, all the accessories. He's got the shovel, he's got the fire extinguisher, he's got the axe, he's got the light bars, he's got a whole roof rack filled with Connex boxes and all, and fuel can, water can, all that. You look at that guy, right, and you're like, huh, he's pretty prepared. I bet he's got some supplies in there. And then you look at Joe Schmo over here, right, who just looks like some nerd out of SpongeBob, and he's running, you know, a covert Prius, all right, and he's got all of his tactical stuff in there inside of a civilian bag, right? So it's some sort of neon color or something that pops out in a way that doesn't tell everyone, hey, look at me, I'm tactical. So even if you have some sort of tactical equipment, right, A lot of the times camos are less for actually blending in and more for unit identification. That is why I highly recommend, if you are on a team, if you're in some sort of training group, if you are in a shit hits the fan survival group, whatever you want to call yourself, a fraternity, right? Try to wear the same camouflages, because that's going to identify yourself as that unit. Everyone's in the same camo. Unit ID is a great thing to have, but I'm, getting out of the realm of what I'm talking about here. So, end of the day, what piece of equipment do you want to wear? What do you want to run? What do you want to use? That is going to come up to you guys. That is going to be the area of operations that you're fighting out of. Are you super rural Midwest? Are you just cornfields upon cornfields upon cornfields upon cornfields? Are you running a bolt gun and you could never see yourself wearing a plate carrier to begin with? Or are you the type of guy that doesn't even have a rifle and you're just running a shotgun? Do you maybe just have a handgun? If you only own a handgun, then why do you even need all of this? If it makes you feel more secure, if it makes you feel more comfortable, if having this equipment makes you feel like you are more prepared, that is awesome. I love it. Rock on. But as a lot of people are saying in the YouTube space, as a lot of people are saying online, you guys really need to be training physical fitness, because if you can't carry all this junk, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a loot drop for someone else when they were hiking a couple miles after you, because they found it on the side of the road after you ditched it because your fat ass can't actually carry it. So run what you guys think that you should run. Run what you can run, because whatever chest rig you're running, whatever plate carrier you're running, whatever bandolier you're running, or LBE, whatever that, you have to think about this equipment plus the equipment that you want to run on you if you're leaving your home, if you're going somewhere else. If it's just for home protection, then it's a different story. Then you guys need to think about how fast can you actually get this equipment on. If you hear a bump in the night, are you going to take the time to put on a plate carrier? Are you going to take the time to put on a chest rig? Are you going to take the time to put on an LBE? Are you going to take the time to just put on a bandolier? Do you practice throwing all of your equipment on in a Minutemen type style? Do you practice this with your family? Do you practice this with your community? Are you practicing being a Minuteman and being fast, being quick, and being able to quickly respond to threats as they come? Do you guys have security at your house? Do you have external lights? Do you have external cameras? Do you have any sort of, cover to get behind at your home? There are a lot of things that are not being talked about with this topic. When it comes to home security, when it comes to community security, when it comes to fighting, there are infinite amounts of variables. The amount of variables here is painful. And I want you guys to start thinking about this. Once again, I do not have the answer. If you guys do not like my lethally poor tip of buy a plate carrier, buy a bandolier, buy an LBV, that's perfectly fine. Do what makes sense for you. Do what makes sense for your family. Do what makes sense for your community. All right. I'm going to end that here. I've been PNW Guerrilla. Really appreciate you guys watching. As always, this channel would not be where it is without you guys watching, without you guys supporting. If you were not aware, and by now, I have a Patreon, I have a website. There's other ways to support me. Go ahead, hit up the description. I got all kinds of links in there of where to follow me elsewhere. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Roll that outro, ATS.